Staten Island Community Television, you're watching In the Bleachers, the TV show for the world's most passionate sports fans. Hello, everyone. I'm Jaime Hixson. And look what the cat dragged in.
Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kenny. It should be a one shot on me.
No.
Because I am that famous.
No.
You see?
You ain't famous.
One shot, Kenny. I want a one because I have a lot to say to the people out there. Thank you, Mr. Grant. Oh, there you go. Hello, my people.
What people?
Jamie still thinks it's October 31st because he's still wearing his mask.
I hate you.
That was already a player done already. Secondly, I am gracing you with my lovely presence, ladies and gentlemen.
There's nothing lovely about your presence.
Because I am the hardest, the baddest, the sexiest man on cable access TV. You're truly.
Mud is more sexy than you, man.
That's why they make it so good, because when you put mud on your face, it's supposed to make you so pretty. So no matter what you say, jealousy's still showing up on you.
I ain't jealous of you.
Because you still talking about how ugly I am, how this I am,
because it's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me prove to you that I'm still the hardest, baddest, sexiest man on cable access
No,
TV,
you are not.
And that I have all the beautiful women
coming
don't. And swimming all towards me. This is a man. Get a close up of him.
We don't need no damn close up of me.
This is jealousy.
I'm not jealous of you.
Because do you see him horrifically talking about me, ladies and gentlemen? Well,
you look like the crypt keeper.
Do I talk to him about that way? Do I talk about him
that way? Yes, you do. You little liar.
Do you see this, ladies and gentlemen? It's because I'm so pretty.
No, you're not pretty.
Touch me. That's all. That's all. The man is jealous.
I'm not jealous of you. Right? Why would I be jealous of somebody who looks like the crypt keeper?
Even the man has to shut the door because Jamie's talking so damn loud. That's right, Graham. You see, that's right, because you the man.
He has a first name, dog.
Kenny. You are the man. Why do you call Kenny a dog?
I didn't call him a dog. I call you a dog.
Kenny, you my dog, man. I tell you, you the brother of all mothers, man. Because I got to tell you, I know how you put up with him.
Easily.
When I call, he's supposed to announce me, address me.
No.
As the sexist man on cable access.
You are none of those.
But he does not. I have no idea why.
Because you are none of those.
This is what jealousy happens, ladies and gentlemen. So now that we've gotten that out the way, let's talk about sports. Because we're here not only because of me, but because of sports. Because we do have the passionate fans out there. And I like to say this as well. Do us a favor and please leave comments on the show and leave us questions. And Jamie will give you the rundown on where to give us the questions, where to give us the comments. You know, we should have a questionnaire on how many people would date me and how many people would date Jamie.
First of all, I'm already accommodated for.
It doesn't matter. It's a damn
it does matter.
It doesn't matter because it's just a survey. All I'm saying to you is, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question out there or if you have a comment on the show and to say that Jamie's jealous of Hector, that is fine.
I said I'm not jealous of you. Why do you keep on going with this?
So,
why do you keep on going with this?
Tell them where to contact us.
Facebook and Twitter.
What are the handles?
Well, on Facebook.com, it's I think it's Facebook.com/InTheBleachers. And on Twitter, they can actually find me by my first and last name, which is Jaime Hixson.
That's right. See? That's right. And that's what you should... wait a minute. I'm looking up something, ladies and gentlemen. M-I-U-C. That's right. Rick Flair. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, because I am the man. Now, let's see something. Because I'm here, this is what you should be hearing. This is for me. Because I'm here gracing you guys. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hear it. Take it all in, ladies and gentlemen.
You are such an idiot.
I am here for you. Do you hear it? Can you feel it? Put your hand on the TV, ladies and gentlemen, and feel the power that I'm giving you.
You ain't no preacher, man.
Do you hear it, ladies and gentlemen? Do you feel it? Because all the women do feel it when I get through with them. So now,
they don't even know that you're there, man.
The sexiest man on cable access TV.
You are none of those.
Thank you.
Can you put that down, please?
Yes, let's talk about the show, ladies and gentlemen, because Jaime, like I said, still thinks it's Halloween because he's still wearing his mask.
I hate you.
But that was already a football player. Thank you very much. But, you know, we have to grace ourselves with a lot of things that a lot of people are, well, I'm not going to say, but I'm going to say I like to thank the people that are getting their shots and their booster shots. I've already gotten my booster shot. And I still like to play it safe. You know, why not? Flu season's coming up. And if you noticed, now when people were wearing the mask last year, the flu season was down. So, you know, it was true. It is true that when people wore the mask last year, flu season was down. Mm-hmm. So, you know, believe it, ladies and gentlemen, I really don't like wearing the mask. It's a pain in the rear end. It's like having those things, the air things that you wear to get extra air at the hospital. It's a pain in the rear end because it's always hurting your ears. And for people that wear glasses, it's always fogging it up. So I understand that, but for protection, do what you have to do, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? Speaking of masks and speaking of participation and all that, let's talk about America's team that lost.
You mean the Cowboys?
No, the Jets.
The Jets are not America's team.
The Jets
Cowboys
lost
are America's team, supposedly.
miserably once again, right? Someone got hurt.
They didn't just lose. They got their teeth kicked in.
They lost someone, too.
Yeah, they lost a couple of people. Mike White wound up hurting his forearm, and Marcus May tore ligaments in his knee. He's gone
out for the year. So look at that. The Jets are disastrous once again. What is it with this team?
I just don't know. I mean, well, offensively, they were doing a lot better with Mike White as the QB, but then all of a sudden, he wound up getting hurt while throwing a touchdown, and they had to bring in the other guy, Josh Johnson.
What happened to Flacco?
Joe Flacco still hasn't learned the playbook yet. He's got to learn the playbook.
But he was there last year.
He was there last year, but he still has to learn the playbook under a new regime.
Oh, that's right. Again, the Jets have changed a new coaching staff. And ladies and gentlemen, do we say prayers to the Jets because
we definitely say prayers to the guys that are hurt.
Yes, but also the prayers go out to the Jet fans out there because they have gone through losing season after losing season after losing season, and we don't have that guy, as I've been preaching before, from days on, from before. Haven't I said that there's not that number one guy that we can rely upon? Even the Giants have that number one guy, with Saquon Barkley, when he's healthy and when he's able to play.
Well, there's 1 and 1A. There's Saquon Barkley and also Daniel Jones. And
are you counting him as the it guy, Daniel Jones?
I said 1A.
Well,
there's a difference.
like I said, no, because all I'm saying is, do you count him as the most reliable person that can win you games? Or are you counting on him just to be there? Because to me, Daniel Jones, unless you don't have an offensive line or unless you don't have a go-to guy that you could throw it to, if we've known damn good quarterbacks in the past, Dan Marino, Montana, and
that's the distant past.
Even the recent past, some of them didn't have receivers.
Mm-hmm.
But they still make them better than what they are. So we have a quarterback. Do you think that the Giants and the Jets have an average quarterback who need that great wide receiver? Because it seems that way. Because
the Jets definitely do.
If you are a real damn good quarterback, you make that wide receiver look good.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a quarterback yet, except for Eli Manning.
who lasted 16 years.
Who and had decent wide receivers.
Yes,
he
he
didn't
did.
have the best,
Mm-hmm.
but he made them better.
For a while, he had Victor Cruz as his receiver.
Yeah, the Cruz, the salsa man.
Yep. And for 5 years, he also had Odell Beckham.
Well, that's what I mean. You have a combination, but in between, and chime in on this. Do you think that if you're a great quarterback, you make everybody around you better?
Yes. If you look at Tom Brady and what he did with the Patriots for 20 years and what he's doing in his second season with the Buccaneers, he's making every single wide receiver and tight end look terrific.
Now, that being the case, that's a come I say. So, is Daniel Jones an average quarterback, above average quarterback, or a great quarterback? To me, he's either average or above average. He's above average because he beat so many people. However, is he making the team better?
Well, for the last 6 games, they've been a 500 team, which is really great considering that they got off to an 0-3 start.
Exactly.
And to answer your question, Daniel Jones is, I would say, slightly above average, just slightly,
Okay.
because he still has to work on cutting down on the turnovers. And if you look at the Raider game yesterday, 23 points isn't too shabby,
Right. No.
but at the same time, he
I mean,
also lost a fumble, which wound up costing the Giants 3 points.
Yeah, but at least he's not like the Jets and most other teams that once you get down the red into the near the zone,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times the Jets have always had a problem with while they're near the zone, they don't score.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And at least the Giants, this is coming now next year, depending upon how the team does. Let's say they make the playoffs. Do you get another quarterback, or do you still rely on Daniel Jones?
They could get a veteran quarterback who could be a backup and a tutor.
I would rather get a young quarterback so that Daniel Jones can tutor him if he's so good. Right?
I didn't say he was great. I said he was above
Right,
average.
but this is what I'm saying.
There's a difference
Would
between
he-
being above average and being great.
Would you keep him next year, or would you go for another quarterback if you?
I would definitely keep Jones around for next year. Besides,
No, but I'm saying, would you go for another quarterback?
I don't think so. If anything, I think the Giants might need defenders with that first round
Who's
pick
their
more than a
backup
quarterback.
right now?
The backup quarterback now, I think it's Mike Glennon.
Is he any good? Because normally you have 3 quarterbacks on a team, right? Who is their backup?
I think it's Mike Glennon, who used to be with the Falcons.
Well, he must be good enough because they need him on the team, right? He must be good. It's like the 12th man on the bench. You may think he's not that great because he doesn't step foot on the court, but he made it there to fill the 12th chair. So right now the Jets are going with. Wait a minute. Is this other guy from the Jets, the quarterback from the Jets? He's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
You're talking
And
about
Mike White is out for how many weeks now?
if I'm not mistaken, I think it could be 4 weeks. Which means now the Jets have to go with Josh Johnson as their quarterback. And Josh Johnson has not been very impressive.
Or Joe Flacco if he learns the players right away. I mean, he's a veteran quarterback. I don't see him not knowing the plays right away. But them poor Jets, they really did it. You know, you were looking forward to seeing Mr. White. Well, how was he doing in the game? You tell me. How was he doing in the game?
He looked the same way that he did when he led the Jets to their second victory. He was throwing short passes and looking for guys off screens. And then the next thing we knew, he wound up taking them inside the red zone. And on the touchdown pass that he threw, that was when he hurt his forearm. If there's one thing that worries me about White, he doesn't throw the deep pass. He can't go more than 20 or 30 yards without taking the ball a
does
short
he
way.
does he have someone to be able to throw the bomb to if he had to?
You mean a receiver?
Yeah. That's another thing. Again,
I want to say Braxton Berrios, but he's not necessarily a number one receiver.
But is he good enough? This is what I'm saying. You just mentioned Tom Brady, how he makes everyone better. There's nobody out there that makes that team better. They don't have that guy. They don't have that number one guy that can say, you know what, now the team is going to be great. Mm-hmm. Now the team is going to be really damn good.
And there's plenty of quarterbacks that are it guys, even though they're up there in age. Ben Roethlisberger has long been the it guy.
That's right.
Aaron Rodgers, he's long been the it guy. Dak Prescott, even though he's still a young guy, he's the it guy.
That's right.
And he's got receivers to work with that not only he makes look great, but make him look great.
And Odell Beckham Jr. is going for another team right now.
Yeah, he got released by the Browns. Now he's looking for work. There are 2 or 3 teams that I know of.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa's one. The Saints are another. The Saints are his hometown team.
49ers.
The 49ers, too. The Raiders are probably the hot pick for him to sign with.
Well, put it this way. Who does he have a better chance of winning the championship?
You put him on Tampa Bay, I think they could come this close to repeating.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Tom Brady's there.
Because Brady's there.
And Gronkowski, he's playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go with him. He's probably the hottest hand you got.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Tampa Bay, Mike, not Mike. What's Tom Brady's old coach? What's his name?
Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick. That team.
Possibly.
What's that damn team called? I'm so sorry.
It's the Patriots.
The Patriots. You think he has a chance to go with the Patriots?
Well, it's not like they have a number one guy to begin with. I mean, it depends on the fit, though.
And also,
and as it turns out, Mike Glennon is the Giants' backup quarterback after all.
And after that is Joe Flacco. So they've lost 2 quarterbacks.
The Jets have.
Yeah, the Jets have lost 2 quarterbacks, and now they're down to Mike Glennon and Joe Flacco.
Actually, they're down to Josh Johnson and Joe Flacco. Mike Glennon is on the Giants.
Oh, Josh Johnson. And Mike Glennon is...
Mike Glennon's on the Giants. Josh Johnson...
Who's their other quarterback? Do you know, offhand?
On the Giants?
Yes.
Let me see if I can find it.
Who's their third quarterback? Just in case... Because they do have a shot of making the playoffs if they continue playing the way they're playing. I mean, how much... the old adage is if you win between 9 to 10 games, you were in the playoffs. Is that correct?
Right now, it's just Daniel Jones and Mike Glennon, the 2-headed quarterback for the Giants.
Well, anyway.
At least the Jets are thinking of their depth at the quarterback position.
Well, they have to.
It's definitely not great, but at least the depth is there.
And also, think about it also this way. They're still building. The problem is the Jets have the same sickness as the Brooklyn Nets had when they were playing in Jersey.
Yeah.
And the same sickness with the Mets, which is no matter who they touched, somehow they broke down.
Yeah.
Even the New York Knicks has that problem too.
It's funny that you mentioned the Mets because I just saw on the Newswire Michael Conforto, who actually was offered a qualifying contract. He decided to turn it down, so he's going to be a free agent.
Michael Conforto. The Mets can't find a GM. They can't find a manager. They can't find a player personnel. Something's wrong.
It's gotten to a point, even one of the women in baseball have turned down the Mets job.
Something is really going wrong on that team.
I think it might be power, though.
I don't know what it is. Nobody's reported it. Secondly, is it reputable where you're getting your information from? Not, you can get any type of information from all types of places. Comedians even give you information such as Seth Meyers, Colbert, which are my favorites because they give you, even though they make it jokingly, but they give you good information. Some people call them liberal and all that. But besides the point, do they give you accurate information? Where do you get this accurate information? Are people accurate and credible? Has anybody reported from what you've seen why they do not want the Mets jobs?
I think it might have to do with the owner, Stephen Cohen. He was supposed to be the Mets savior, but so far, all he's done is get rejected 4 or 5 times by potential candidates. And the one guy who was interested in the job, Brian Sabian, who spent 2 decades running the San Francisco Giants and used to work for George Steinbrenner on the Yankees, Stephen Cohen turned him down. He could have been the guy for the Mets. But like I said, I think there is a question of power here. It could be that maybe Stephen Cohen wants to have everything to do with the decision-making on there, kind of like a little Jerry Jones thing.
Well, it's his team. I mean, he could do whatever he wants, but eventually somebody's going to take it because they want money and they want to try it.
Yeah.
Somebody's out there.
And they want that first shot.
But if they do not do well, I mean, if they offered me the job, let's say, would I take it? Of course I would. Why not? Just because I don't, I mean, let's say I do have the qualifications for it, but I've never done it before. Why shouldn't I take it to try it out?
Why should you not take it?
Yeah. Why not? I want the money. I want to be able to try it out. And people may see that, look at the spot that I'm in. So this is why let's say I'm losing because I'm dealing with a guy. Mm-hmm. And you can see the moves that I'm trying to make because of, let's say, leaks of the press or leaks here or leaks there. But it all depends. It's put it this way. We still don't know why. Nobody's really reported it. Why nobody wants the job. The Post has reported that I know of. Times, News, the Advance. Nobody's reported that I know of. Even the local streams like ESPN. I haven't heard it on the radio, have you?
Nothing.
So what's going on? Like Marvin Gaye say, what's going on, baby?
I'm still convinced that there's a power thing going on.
Yeah, well, you know, but they still... but
maybe the general manager is not going to be allowed to have final say in the decision-making?
But they can't even get a coach.
Oh, speaking of which,
Rojas is going to the Yankees probably.
Yeah, he interviewed for the one of the coaching jobs, either at first base or third base.
Why not? Why not? He'd probably be a better coach than. And the reason why they got rid of the third base coach is because of what happened in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So
that was probably the turning point.
And that's another thing. You know, I know we talked about football and we got into this, but look at the Yankees right now. Who do they go after? Do they go after one of the top tier shortstops? Mm-hmm. Do you go after the top tier outfielders? Mm-hmm. And Gardner is the one that wanted to leave. They were going to pay him minimum because he had an option on his contract, but he wanted to try and go to waivers. So he wanted to leave. But all in all, the Yankees are in a tough. Are the Yankees in a good position, or are they in a tough position because they're the New York Yankees, and you figure that the Yankees are going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
George Steinbrenner is not there no more to say, you know what, he's not there. It's a whole different ballgame now.
Yeah, his son's running the show.
and they want to go down. They don't want to pay that luxury tax no more. They're trying, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I know correctly. And Sanchez, do you bring him back?
Gary Sanchez?
Yeah. You need a catcher. Who's out there?
I would probably
catcher?
bring him back just because he's a frontline catcher, but
A frontline hitting catcher, not a cat. I mean, defensive-wise, he may have improved.
Defensive-wise, he's got his
He
limitations.
may have improved a little bit, but was he more hurt than did he played?
Yeah, he was.
And when he did play, did he hit?
Well, if you want to call a 230 average hitting, then the answer is no.
Well, then, what are the Mets? What do the Mets do?
What do the Mets do?
What do the Mets do? And what are their plans right now?
Mm-hmm.
What do the Yankees do? And what are their plans? Do they bring up the prospect that they have at shortstop and put him in? Or do they get, let's say, a Joey Cora and they bring back Anthony Rizzo? Go! Ladies and
That was
gentlemen.
the Ranger game. They just scored. Rangers lead 1-0 over Florida.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. You got a goal out of me yet. But all in all, what do you think is going to go on with the Yankees?
What's going to go on with the Yankees? I think they definitely have to get some pitching, first and foremost. Secondly, I'm not sure what's going to happen with first base because Anthony Rizzo made it clear he wants to return. But the Yankees haven't decided on him yet, so they might want to get another first baseman.
And also, how much do you pay for him? Because that's the thing too. Because how many people have you seen that they always go to New York or to L.A. and they always haven't you noticed?
Mm-hmm.
Knicks, now the Brooklyn Nets, the Mets, or the Yankees. The Jets not so much, and the Giants. But if you notice those four teams, they're always mentioned in trades.
Yeah.
That's because the money's here.
And it's also because the NFL has a strict salary cap.
Yeah, but in L.A., same thing.
Mm-hmm.
All the big ones, but in baseball too.
Yeah.
Think about it. The Mets and Yankees could spend a lot more than normal baseball teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Jets and Giants, they're pretty spendable too.
Yeah.
So they always name New York first a lot of times because they know the money's here.
True.
But have you noticed that they'll always mention New York, but they never come here because they always get the money from another team that match that because they know they're going to get the most money from New York?
Yep.
Whether it's New York or like most of the big teams, L.A., Atlanta, depending upon what team is out there.
Chicago, too.
Yeah, Chicago, big money team. It all depends, because Seattle is not a big money team.
Not really.
No, and the Chiefs are not a big money team.
Nope.
So,
But they spend their money wisely.
Yeah,
though.
they do. They do because look who won the World Series this year.
The Braves.
They want to outlaw the tomahawk chop, but I'm glad they call the Braves. And the poor football team, the Washingtons. Or the Guardians.
Yeah.
Even they're in the lawsuit.
Yeah.
The roller derby team owns that
There's a roller derby team that's got the same name.
It was like WWE, worldwide. Well,
The World Wrestling Federation was sued by the World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was WWF. Yeah, that's how come they got sued. But, ladies and gentlemen, things are going crazy out here. And they don't even want you to do the tomahawk chop. But I don't know. To me, things are going crazy.
Yeah.
Things are going crazy. Nobody wants to play for the Mets now. You don't know what's going to happen with the Yankees.
Nope.
The Brooklyn Nets are winning. but their star player, Kyrie Irving, doesn't want to get the shots because he wants to do research. Well, let me ask you this. How long is his research? If you're doing research, how long is it going to take for you to actually decide whether you do it or you don't? That's another thing that you have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you decide? He's never given. He's given a thing on, I think, on Twitter or on Facebook, one of them media outlines, where he says, "I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it to protect my family, I think, and I'm doing research." How long is your research? How long does a person research? I heard that.
And where are his sources?
Yeah, they're doing 5 to 11 with the shots, and I heard a parent say, "I'm going to hold off on it to see what goes on."
Mm-hmm.
I could understand that, but when we got our inoculations, you had to do it or you didn't go to school. This is the same thing. Getting these shots, like it or not, even back in Washington's days, they cut up the guy, gave him blood. I think it was because of syphilis. I'm not sure which disease was it. I forgot. But they gave him the blood so they wouldn't lose the majority of their troops.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Cut open, they gave him blood, that's it. They were forced to do it. Washington told them to, right? So now, maybe I'm telling a little bit the story wrong, but it's there. Look it up. I'm telling you, look it up. Washington did do that, though. So, how long do you have to decide? A year? 6 months?
Like you said, it doesn't take that long.
Like you said, so far, how long has it been since the season started?
I know the Nets. Let's see. I think it's been almost a month.
Okay.
Because the season started around October 19th.
Now, mind you, it's been since October 19th. They started around the 19th, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the COVID shot has been for how long? 6 months ago? A year ago?
I think so, yeah.
So let's say 6 months ago. If you haven't done your research since, something's wrong with you. You're either going to get it or you're not, and going to say why you're not getting it. At least come out and say why you're not getting it. Don't say, "I don't want the shot because my family's going to get hurt," or this and that. Tell me why. Is it because of what's in it? Say the reason why. A lot of these people do not say why.
Yeah.
And let's say it does happen. It's that mere 1% that something can happen, according to the government. But do you trust the government? A lot of times, it's hard to trust the government sometimes. But it's a mandate thing. The new mayor that's coming up said he wasn't going to take out that ruling that the new governor that we have now is. And a lot of people are fighting it. And a lot of people are losing their jobs or they're not getting paid, policemen and firemen. Now we have Kyrie Irving. Nobody wants to take it. Okay, great. You're saying you're doing your research. How long is their research?
And what are his sources?
What are the sources and what is your research? At least say why you're not going to get it. Don't keep the fans waiting and say, oh, look, I'm still researching.
Should we really take his comments at face value?
A lot of people listen to him.
He always has been a very strange character.
He's a flat earther. He thinks the world is flat. Okay. Tell me the reliable sources.
Mm-hmm.
Just say the reliable sources. Don't say, well, it came from, let's say, Facebook. Okay. Who was the reliable source in Facebook? Oh, well, I just charted it around. I just cut and paste and put it in or whatever. Oh, wow. Who was the source? It's like writing a dissertation or a paper.
Mm-hmm.
You always have to put the source. The name, the date, and the actual article in the source. You got to put the source. Okay, fine. Put the source down. So where you have one guy that doesn't want to do it, and there's a couple too. Aaron Rodgers, I think, doesn't want to take the shot either.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to, he's hurting his football team.
Yeah.
By
It
not
showed
taking
last night.
He's hurting his football team. And for those older people that say, well, back in our day, we were forced to do it because if he wasn't, we wouldn't be able to go to school. Plain and simple. Now you have superstars not wanting to take it. And you have teams, they don't need, I'm just trying to figure out, like you said, maybe it's Cohen that is power, but you don't hear from them.
Yeah. I know Cohen uses Twitter quite a bit.
Do you see him say why he can't?
He never answered that question.
Nothing. Okay. So who do we got right now that we could say yippee-yi-yay, Kayo, the Brooklyn Nets?
Somewhat.
Even though they don't have Kyrie Irving? Oh,
Yep.
Who's complaining about the calls now that they changed
James
the rule?
Harden.
He's not the only one, but they're focusing on him.
Yeah.
Because he used to get calls
Mm-hmm.
that didn't. He used to get the calls before, but now he doesn't get the calls that they're picking on him.
Mm-hmm.
I can believe that referees have a tendency to pick on people. I believe that.
Yeah.
But show me the proof. All I want is proof. That's it. What do you think of the situation with James Harden and the league with those rulings?
I think the referees definitely have it out for him because there was a time when he, like you said, he used to get the calls all the time, but now I think the referees are letting them play a little bit more. And it's not just Harden either.
What calls is he talking about? Do you know offhand?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the call where he fakes a jumper and then leans into the defender who's up in the air, and then the defender comes down on him and bumps him.
What do you think of it?
It was really common, and it wasn't just Harden. It was a common foul.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, what
ago.
do you think of it? Do you like them not calling it, or do you don't like it that they call it?
If there's contact of some kind, it's a foul, and it has to be called.
But if the guard is the one pushing into you,
but if the guard is pushing into him, that should be an offensive foul.
Then he fakes it, and then the guy jumps on you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
He's dribbling the ball, he bumps into the guy, and acts like it's him.
Yeah.
Because the guy's weight is defending him. He's going through forwards.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, that's a hard call to jart down. But is it... First of all, ladies and gentlemen, basketball is supposed to be a non-contact sport.
Try telling the players that.
And for some strange reason, you have marks like they've been knifed and everything else. It's as bad as water polo. They actually keep their...
Oh, water polo's a lot worse.
They keep their nails sharp so they can hurt the other players. So...
There's athletes that come out of there with bloody noses.
Yeah, this is what I'm going. I don't understand. If basketball is supposed to be a non-contact sport, how did it get so physical?
You know why? It's all the play underneath. Going for rebounds. It is murder.
But when you
going for a rebound underneath the basket.
But when you see the Olympic sporting, it's not. They don't allow that.
Mm-hmm. Although there are some countries that play basketball that are very, very physical.
Yeah, but if you notice in the Olympics, when it comes to hockey, they hit hard. but they
That's a physical
don't.
sport.
But they don't hit hard enough that. First of all, hardly ever see a fight in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
The game is more finesse in the Olympics because the arena is bigger. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm boring you.
No, you're not boring me. I'm just tired.
No, I understand, but the arena is bigger. But what do people want to see? They want to see fights. They want to see a fight. That's all it is. A bunch of gladiators. I heard on YouTube, whether he's reliable or not, saying that teams are gladiators and we want to see the gladiators fight. Just give them bread and wine and let them see something, which is true. Because when COVID hit, people were looting, starting fires, and so on, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then once sports came back, it calmed down, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, oh man, the world's gone crazy. But I'm just saying, James, if he does have a leg to stand on, who do you complain to?
I would say complain to the league office, but I don't even think that's gonna matter.
And basketball is a non-contact sport.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it, but at least they're playing the game. What's their record offhand?
Right now, the Nets have a record of...
They're like 4-3, something like that.
Here we are. Brooklyn, they have a 4-game winning streak to raise their record to 7-3.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, the Knicks are 6-4. After getting their heads handed to them by the Cavaliers last night.
Yeah, that's
speaking of the Knicks,
yeah,
they're actually playing the Sixers right now.
That's right. And this is something that been going on since after Ewing left. After the decimation of Patrick Ewing and that great team that they had. And Allen Houston is not the greatest player of all time. So for those people that think that Allen Houston was great, I'm sorry. To me, he wasn't.
He was a very good player.
He was a good player, but he
really good shooter.
He wasn't as good as they made him out to be. But
he was a hell of a shooter, though.
Houston, the greatest dunk of all time by a New York Knick. Who do you think it is?
The greatest dunk of all time
by a New York Knick.
By any Knick? Patrick.
No, Kiki Vandeweghe.
Oh yeah.
The mighty Vandeweghe going up with no legs.
Mm-hmm.
Made a massive dunk. They used to say Starks was the massive dunk because he dunked it over Jordan.
Over Jordan and Horace Grant.
And now it's Kiki Vandeweghe, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to say. But here's something that the Knicks, for some strange reason, that bug has never gone away. You know the bug.
Yeah. The fly that just doesn't seem to want to go away.
The fourth quarter bug.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth quarter bug, ladies and gentlemen, they've had that since how many? Where they're up by 20 and
then they butcher the lead and wind up either winning close or losing by double digits.
I mean,
like they did to the Cavaliers last night.
Now, here's the thing which is true too. Sometimes you have a tendency to play at the level that the team is out there.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're, let's say, at the bottom of the list, teams that are here have a tendency to come down here. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
So with the New York Knicks, it doesn't matter who's coaching them. It doesn't matter who's out there. The Knicks defense in the 2-minute time frame
is problematic.
The worst. Whether they win or lose. It doesn't matter if they win or lose. They're supposed to, if they win, great. But give them 4 minutes, between 4 minutes to 2, 4 minutes to 1 minute. Or 4 minutes down, let's say. That's where you're having a nail biter. That's where you have no nails because you've seen them. The Chicago game.
Yep.
They lost by 1. They won by 1 point.
Yeah.
No, 2 points. They won by 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
But look at that game.
And they're playing the Sixers now. in Philly. And let's see, 8:22 left in the first half. Knicks lead the Sixers 34-27. And the Nets have the Bulls tonight. Second game of a back-to-back.
And also, Cavaliers lost Colin Sexton.
Yeah, he tore a meniscus in his knee. He's going to be out quite a while.
For the year, they say.
Mm-hmm.
And his option, first they were trying to trade him.
Yeah.
They couldn't trade him. Now he's coming off, and he was on a team that had damn good guards to begin with. That's why they were trying to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
And good forwards, small forwards.
Yeah.
So now you have a man that has a year off. How do you decide how much is worth this?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
So that's another thing too, right?
Yeah.
You figure. But the mighty Knicks, they're up there 6-4.
There's nothing
standing
mighty about them.
strong. Wait a minute. What place are they in?
They're in 7th place now.
7th place. Who? Show the records. What's the team's records?
Let's see. Let's start in the Eastern Conference first of all.
Yes, please.
There's the Sixers, who the Knicks are playing now. They have an 8-2 record. Then there's Miami, which is 7-2. Then there's Brooklyn and Washington. Washington's off to a really good start this year. Both of them are 7-3. Chicago is 6-3. Cleveland has taken a lot of people by surprise. They're 7-4 now. Then there's the Knicks, who are 6-4. Then there's Toronto, who's 6-5. Not bad. Charlotte's 5-6. Milwaukee, yes, the defending champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, along with Boston and Atlanta, have identical 4-6 records. Then there's Indiana, which is 4-7. And then you have the have-nots. Orlando's 3-8, and then Detroit's 1-8. As for the Western Conference, Golden State is off to their best start right now. They're 8-1. Utah's 7-3, Dallas is 6-3, Phoenix is 5-3, Memphis and Denver and the Los Angeles Clippers are 5-4 each. Sacramento, Portland, and the Los Angeles Lakers are 5-5 each. Minnesota's 3-5, Oklahoma City's 3-6, San Antonio's 3-7. I think it's safe to say San Antonio is entering the start of their lean years now. And then there's Houston and
The
New
Spurs,
Orleans.
yeah, they're trying to rebuild.
They're trying to rebuild. Then there's Houston and New Orleans, each of whom is 1-9.
And what about the other? Go!
Rangers scored again. 2-0 now over Florida.
And they, go ahead, continue with the standings of each division. Go ahead.
I just did.
Oh, Lakers too?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the Lakers standing at?
The Lakers are a 500 team. They're 5-5.
The Hollywood Fakers.
Yeah, like Steve Summers would say. He still calls them the Fakers.
Well, they're faking you out because that's supposed. And Carmelo Anthony, give him his props. He did surpass what's his name for what?
Just made it into.
He made it. He set a record because of the length of his basketball career. I think he's what, eighth in the league in scoring. I know it was about scoring, but
here we are.
I think. Go ahead.
Kareem, of course, is the all-time leader.
Yes.
Well over 37,000. Nope, I stand corrected. It's here we are. 38,387 points. Carmelo Anthony is now 9th overall. He moved past the late Moses Malone. And he's just over 1,000 points behind Shaq. Carmelo's in 9th place and Shaq is in 8th place.
And look at this. This is going to be fun because now you have this happening.
Yep.
Isn't it unbelievable?
Mm-hmm.
That because he has length. He's been in the league for what, 11 years, 12 years?
Well,
Carmelo Anthony?
this is his 19th season.
Oh.
He played 1 year at Syracuse, then declared. Got drafted by Denver first, then got traded to the Knicks in the 2010-11 season.
Yeah, the massive exodus.
Mm-hmm.
That was that trade. Like I said, I called ESPN one time. They thought I was hating on the Knicks, but the guy, it was Friday night. I think he must have been a kid to me, but he said that the way he came off as if I was hating on the Knicks. What did you think of that trade? At the time,
I had a lot of mixed emotions about that trade. I mean, the Knicks finally got a star player who could score the basketball, but at the same time, he cost the Knicks a lot in players and money and draft picks too.
And also, we had Stoudemire at the time too.
Yeah. That meant that Stoudemire could not be the go-to guy anymore. It was going to be Melo.
Right, but you were expecting them to play together.
Mm-hmm.
And Stoudemire never gave you that because of his knees.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then some people would say, well, the Knicks wouldn't have won a championship or a playoffs with the team that they had. But they would have been better because look at Timothy Mozgov.
Oh,
think of it this way. You may not like him, but within the years that he played, depending upon which team that he was on, he improved. Now, if he would have improved with the Knicks, would he have been as good as he was with the other teams? Who knows? Because the Knicks had a revolving door when it came to coaches. That's true or not true?
True.
Oh, okay. Raymond Felton came back twice. He was so good once, he came twice. And the ladies loved it. But anyway, Raymond Felton, you may not think of him as a damn good player, but
he definitely was not great.
He was not great, but he was good enough to make the NBA. But again, look at the team, look at the players that they got rid of, and the majority of them actually won championship rings. Timothy Mozgov. Did he win a championship ring? Yes, he did. Raymond Felton, did he win a championship ring? Yes, he did. Kenny Smith, did he win a championship? Yes, he did. So, you may be poo-pooing on them, but they won in other places. Now,
doesn't mean that they're great players,
No, I'm
though.
not saying that they're great. I'm not saying that they're great players. I'm saying that they're good players because they actually made the NBA. Remember, look how many thousands and thousands of people that they have to beat in order to make the team. Right? Think of it that way. You have, let's say, what's that? The word? The guy always Donovan, Billy Donovan. When he played with the New York Knicks, Jesus, this boy was so scared of shooting he couldn't touch it. He couldn't touch a tap. But you see this. But he was good enough to make the NBA. Now, was he there for a long time? No. But he's a damn good coach now.
He's coaching the Bulls now.
That's right. He was coaching Wagner College too, wasn't he?
No, he never coached Wagner College.
No, which famous player? Which famous?
You're thinking of PJ Carlesimo.
No, he coached. No, he coached here on Staten Island.
PJ Carlesimo coached at Wagner College before he went to Seton Hall.
Because there was one here, but I'm just saying, as bad as you think these guys are, not only did they win championships because they had good, LeBron and all them other people, but they exceeded. They exceeded their limitations. And remember, there's thousands of players out there. So they were good enough to make the NBA. So now you have the situation where you have the Eastern Division is probably the hardest division now.
You mean the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, the Eastern Conference is the hardest one right now because you read them off. what is it about that division that all of a sudden they've become one of the hardest leagues? What is one of the hardest divisions in the league? Before it was the softest. Now it became the hardest again.
Yeah.
Like me.
No, not like
Like
you.
me, the
No,
hardest
not
bad
like
sexist
you.
man on cable access TV. That's right.
No.
Then, but am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
Because right now you read the other divisions. How hard, is it easy or is it a hard? Well, not that, like you said, wait until the middle.
I would
of the
say
season.
the Eastern Conference is much harder because of the teams that are still making things interesting.
And which other teams that are making the teams interesting? Because Cavaliers are one of them.
Cleveland is definitely one of them. Toronto's off to a good start. Chicago's off to a pretty good start.
But look at the team players they
And
have.
the newcomers that they brought in, for example, Lonzo Ball.
And we never found out about the tampering.
Nope.
They said it.
That's old news now.
They said it, hit it, and you never heard from it again.
Yep.
I wonder what was the outcome.
Yep. Lonzo Ball is now the starting point guard for the Bulls. And joining him in the backcourt is DeMar DeRozan.
And was Sexton?
Colin Sexton's on the Cavaliers
No,
now.
not Colin Sexton. The other guy that can hit from the outside three. He was lousy when he played the last Friday game. He was lousy, and all of a sudden he got hot towards the end. He hit the last shot, made it close. That was the one that they were down by 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's his name missed 2 foul shots. But for those people that are enjoying what's happening in hockey, anything good that we should applaud hockey?
Well, for one.
Thank you, Mr. Graham, for changing the master. You are the master of the wheels of steel, Mr. Graham. The wheels of steel.
Yeah, shout out to Kenny Graham, who's on
Shout
the other
out
side
to
of
the
glass.
Graham man. Did you see him press them buttons to get us up closer? Boy, I tell you, it's fabulous.
As for hockey, well, we know that Carolina has the best team in the Eastern Conference. And out west, it's Minnesota, who lost to the Islanders last night.
And how the Islanders are doing?
A little shaky right now. They have a 5-3-2 record, which is the equivalent of a 5-5 record.
How is their team right now?
They've got some pretty good scorers, Matthew Barzal being one of them. As for the Devils surprisingly are off to a pretty decent start, 5-3-2 record, just like the Islanders. As for the Rangers,
Oh, Rangers.
6-3-3 record, which translates to 6-6.
Okay.
And they're playing the Florida Panthers right now. Rangers lead 2-0, and we mentioned who the best teams in each conference were.
Right. And who's the worst?
Who's the worst?
Well, it can't be the Islanders or the Rangers because they seem to pretty up there, and the Devils, after last year's disaster.
The worst right now is Montreal, 3-10 record.
Yeah. Do you think that they'll
Actually,
be
it's Arizona, 1-10-1.
Oh my!
One victory.
Do you think there'll be a surprise?
Do I think there'll be a surprise?
Any surprise team?
Well,
Just like in football, do you think there'll be a surprise team that are going to really fake you out? Do you think
the real surprise team is Florida.
Do you think the Giants will make it too?
Yeah, I don't think so.
What did you say the prediction was that there were going to be 7
I said the
wins?
Giants were going to win 5 games this year.
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. You're hearing me. You don't know when you will see me. Soak me in.
Do you realize what I have to work with here? For everyone here, I'm Jaime.
I'm Hector.
We'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Contact us.